Going live? Are we live yet?
Are we live?
I don't know. It's live up there. Is it live over here? I don't know. I can't tell if we're live. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to go and do some calisthenics real quick while we wait for us to go live. Just kidding, guys. What is going on? Welcome to Caliber Corner, episode number 104, where tonight we're going to focus on the calibers we love. And this evening we have 7.62x51mm NATO, a.k.a. 308 Winchester, sorta. All right, we're not going to say they're exactly the same. But anyway, welcome, guys. Welcome back, everybody. It's Monday evening. We're having a good time. Night Strike's all ornery this evening. We got Kingpin with us. We got a little squibload going on. So real quick, let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves, and then we'll go ahead and recognize all those people that are joining us because people are going to be joining in. And I get tired of missing everybody, so let's wait a minute for let the classroom show up. So Night Strike, let's start off with you, man. Why don't you go and throw a little introduction out there for those out there that may not know you.
Hi, I'm Night Strike. Check me out on YouTube on the Night Strike 1 channel. That's youtube.com/c/NightStrike1.
And for all the ladies out there, he's a Pisces. He enjoys long walks on the beach.
No, actually, I'm a Virgo.
A Virgo? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So he enjoys long strolls on the beach and long watching the moonlight. All right.
Ladies that are into guns, I am available.
There you go. There you go. All right. Hey, do we have like a Match.com, like 45 Lovers Are Us or something like that?
There might be a farmers only.
There you go. There you go. We need to come up with like a gun. Like what do they call those websites? Like a
gun-friendly dating site?
Gun lovers.
The Gun Connection?
The Gun Connection. There you go.
There
you go. Get reloaded with the Gun Connection. There we go.
Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh, now you're speaking my language.
There we go. Get reloaded.
Yeah.
All right. Yep, that's right. That's right.
That's where you have a singles ad where you talk about the things that you want, but then at the end you put, please include picture of 1911.
That's right. Have you tried Match.com and you don't like it? Have you tried Farmers Only? Have you tried this and that? Well, now there's the Gun Connection. Meet with like-minded individuals that enjoy shooting guns just like you. There you go. And then we can have testimonials like Night Strike could be out there. Hi, I'm Night Strike. You might know me as Jonas. No, I'm just kidding. Night Strike.
It'd be more like, hi, I'm Night Strike 1. You might know me as Jonas on Never Enough Ammo's channel.
Oh,
I'd like to share with you, the Gun Connection.
See, look at that. There you go. And then you'll be forced to keep that beard nice and trimmed, right? Like I said, you look like a young Rob Reiner. I'm telling you right now.
I'm letting the 5 o'clock shadow set in around the other spaces, but I'll shave it off tomorrow. But
okay,
I'm just getting a little lazy because
he could run the Gun Connection through YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Not through YouTube, through GunTube. Sorry. And then he could say, not only am I a member, but I'm the president.
I'm also a client. That's right. Not only am I, there you go. I'm the president, but I'm also a client. So.
Oh my God.
And then like your girlfriend walks out. Oh, Night Strike. Yeah. There we go. There's some good stuff, man. I'm telling you, there's a lot of individuals out there. I think that there's a market for this. We need to get on the bandwagon and get this up and running, Night Strike. So I think we need to Indiegogo that one too. Or just take like a little link over on guntube.org. You can click on if you're interested. So, hey, think of the subscription revenue and just the excitement it would generate. So, yeah, Gun Connection.
Okay, here's your first commercial. It's two ladies sitting at the table having tea, talking, and she says, well, how's everything working out with that new guy you're seeing? She goes, well, I mean, I thought he was kind of cute at first, but then I realized he's kind of a tool and he doesn't like guns. If only there was some place I could go to meet single guys who like guns as much as me. And then she goes, well, there is. Have you heard of the Gun Connection?
Gun Connection. There you go.
Gun? I was expecting Squib to say, I'm dating this guy, but he only likes 9mm, like that guy gun websites.
Oh no, we'll have you have like categories like girls that like guys and guys that like girls and guys and guys and girls and girls. We could have like girls looking for guys that are into 40, and then the wild girls, the 357 SIG girls, and then like the older crowd, the 45 ACP crowd, the 45 on up ACP crowd. And then those unusual 5'7" gals, those foreign ladies, right? I'm telling you, this could work. We could have like a little link you click on. The caliber corresponds. You take our personality test, and it would assign you a caliber. That's it, and it would tell you, well, you are a 22 short Night Strike, or you might be a 380, or you might be a 9mm hollow point.
No, I'm more of a of a 357 SIG.
357 SIG guy. There you go. You like a little bit of speed and velocity, but you're about being kind of cool and stylish, right? There you go.
Exactly.
I mean, the chat's probably screaming at us right now for us to get the show going, right? Is that what's going on?
Well,
They're sitting there talking about 308. I mean, we'll get there. We'll get there.
They're waiting for their intro. So Travis, enough of introing me. Introduce the fine panelists we've got here.
Yeah, we better do that.
We got Forklifts guy and we got the bowler himself.
Okay, so right above us we got Squibload. Squibload, do you want to go and introduce yourself? Well, I don't know how you guys are seeing this, but Squib's right above here. So go ahead, Squibby.
Hi, I'm Squibload.
All right, you want to promote your channel at all, or get the word out about why we should be checking you out on YouTube or Guntube.org? No. Okay. All right. And for all you ladies, Squibload is not available on the Gun Connection. I'm sorry. Line forms to the left. Please take a number. It's going to be a long wait. All right. Moving over to Kingpin. David Bowling. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Not too bad, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. So, Kingpin, we've got some stuff we got to promote here before we get started, man. Throw it out there, brother. What do we got?
All right. The first link that I put out in the chat was a link to Unknown User's Instagram page. There's a World War II veteran. His name is James South, and his address and everything is right there. He's going to be 100 years old, and what he wants for his 100-year birthday is a birthday card. So he put it on Instagram. You can go check out Unknown User's page, and it'll give you the address and everything. The link is right there. Send this guy a birthday card. Make his 100th year birthday something really special. And he's a World War II veteran, so you can always say thank you for your service there. So that's a really cool thing to do. Let's help make this guy happy. He did a lot to protect us, and we could do something just to make his 100-year birthday a very special day.
All right, so let's get there.
The second link that I put out there was for a Bloke's 2 cents giveaway that's still going on. You got till October 2nd to get in. It's a Mod 9 CGS suppressor, which fires 9mm all the way up to 300 blackout. It's a roughly $900 suppressor, which also comes with a paid tax stamp. So your $200 paid tax stamp is included. Plus you get a Scar Armory bulletproof vest or ballistic vest, whatever you want to call it. It is an extra small, but it's not as small as you might think it is. It is adjustable. Plus, if it's too small for you, I'm sure you have a smaller person in your life that you could always donate it to, or you could sell it. But all of that is for $20 GoFundMe donation to a really, really good cause. Bloke's got a friend with a 10-year-old daughter who needs some serious medical attention, and let's go help her out. If you don't like the suppressor, you don't have $20 and you want to throw $1 that way, do that. Follow the link. You got to email a screenshot of your donation to Bloke, and that's pretty much it. And then your FFL has to be an FFL SOT in order to get a suppressor. So check both those links out.
All right. Cool, man. Thank you so much. And Kingpin, about your channel, what can one find if they head on over there to YouTube and check your channel out? What you got going on?
Normally I'd pass that off and try to promote somebody else's stuff, but I actually will have a very, very special mail call coming tonight. And there will be links to Unknown Users video and the video I'm putting out tonight. But I got a very special Every Second Matters mail call that I'm super excited about showing everybody.
Sounds good, man. He already does. He already has one. He already showed it off, didn't he?
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe?
You're right.
No?
He does that.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, couple things I want to promote. We're coming up on 20,000 subscribers. The 224 Valkyrie upper, bipod, and magazine will be shipped here soon. Once that happens, we'll have a live drawing for it, and it'll come from the promo video that I'll be posting here eventually. Unfortunately, I went to go take it out last weekend, and I forgot that my range is also an operational ranch. So I went out there and got my target set up at 200 yards, and I was going to go out as far as I could. And I drive around the board, and there's 3 tractor trailers sitting out in the field, and a combine comes around the corner. I'm like, oh, God. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I wasn't going to shoot down range, but I'm like, well, I had everything all packed in the car. And I thought, okay, they're there. My targets are here. Obviously, I'm not going to shoot in their direction. So I tucked my tail and went home and did another couple other videos and some promos and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to get the 224 Valkyrie out this week. So next week will get to see my extended range footage that goes 200 yards and beyond, basically about as far out as I can actually hit something, and show that off. So that's something coming up. So be watching for that. And then also, if you want to be part of the Travi Army, you can go ahead and join me over on Patreon. It's $1 a month if you want to support the channel. And what'll happen is that's going to get you a soldier with your name on the bottom. And I've got the names here. Like here's Melvin Nuts little figure, and the name right here. I can't guarantee you which what rank you're going to get or what weapon you're going to get. Here's Kenneth Rabidou right here. These are all people that sponsor me over on Patreon. Paper Plane Crash is right here too. So what'll happen is we'll shake up the box, we'll get the troops awoke, and we'll pull it out. And then every month, what's up? Yeah.
Which one is Night Strike?
Grim 90. You're in here somewhere.
I know I got to be
There's
in there
Bruce
somewhere.
Fowlis. I'd have to go through all of them. I've got 38 patrons, and so it wouldn't take long to get through all of them. But you're here. I went through the list last night and added everyone. So what do you got going on here? I could show off the whole collection, but Gun-Toting Pacifist is right here. Jason Stewart's right here. Gizzard Gary is right here. Gotta love that one. So you're in here somewhere. Like I said, I've got 30 of them, but as long as you're a supporter on Patreon, so.
Okay.
Yo.
Travis, just look for the blue one.
The blue one, the one with the blue dress on?
Yes.
I know. I don't have a blue one for you, unfortunately. Just an old man talking is right here. He's the flamethrower guy. So anyway, the reason why I'm showing this off is, and I've still got a couple figures left, and I'm going to do more. I can buy these at Walmart. Basically, I'm going to do a monthly drawing for my patrons, and I've got lots and lots of stuff to give away. I have a box ready to go. Now, I'm not giving away my whole tack pack, but I'm reusing my tack pack boxes. I got a bunch of these just sitting around. And this one's already full, and it's ready to go for the October Patreon drawing. So this is going to go out tomorrow. So if you support me over on patreon.com/TravisB11, I will be more than happy to ship this out. And I've done a couple Patreon drawings, like 3 so far. But I've also done YouTube drawings that don't require any kind of a Patreon membership or anything like that. I just do subscriber drawings. I've done a lot of them. So I know a lot of people say, oh, so now I got to pay to play. No, these are just people that want to support the channel. And a lot of you guys support me on the side anyway. You've done things like donated money to buying, firearms and ammo and parts and stuff like that. So, I mean, I get a lot of support from a lot of different places. David, that tape you sent me, dude, that I did in the little video this summer, I've been using that stuff all over the place on targets around the house. You actually saved me a lot of money. I hate buying tapes. It's so freaking expensive.
Let me know when you get low, and I'll send you another care package.
I used a whole bunch of it actually because I did some painting of the shed out back. So yeah. So anyway, that's good to go. So I'm going to do one every month until I run out of stuff, basically. And some of it, a lot of it might have just been taken out of the package and looked at. Nothing's really been used necessarily, and a lot of it's just stuff that I've acquired over the last couple of years. And part of it is I just want to give this stuff back to you guys, and I'm not necessarily going to use it because I've got similar items or like items, so I don't necessarily need it. So that's just how that's going to work on the side over there. Okay, we just had another person join in here. Calaveras, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Long time no see, man.
It's doing all right. I'm actually at home. I wasn't expecting to be, but we had some snow move in, chased me off the deer mountain. Because I had to be able to actually get back out again before. And I've got some video of what the trail looked like on the way out, and when I actually post it, you guys will see why I actually called it early. So tomorrow morning I get to leave for somewhere else and try to find a deer somewhere else.
So was it Utah got hit with snow? Was it like western Wyoming or up in that whole area, the whole northwest kind of quadrant of the country got hammered, or what?
Montana got smacked too.
Oh yeah,
I'm in California.
Yeah, I know. But up in how far do you have to go north or northwest or north to get to snow in California? You don't. You just got to go up in elevation to get to it, or what?
Basically, you head east up one of the highways that goes up into the Sierra Nevada, and that's where you start finding snow. I was about 5,600 feet elevation.
Oh, wow.
And although it was only about 2 inches, but the actually, if you look at my Instagram, I think it is, you actually see a picture of the bear print that I had my hand next to, and you can see where, and you can see how much snow was at that point, and we got more after that. Yeah. But it's a 4x4 trail that I was hunting, and it's a bit tricky in the dry, and I was concerned the snow got too deep, I wouldn't be able to get out, so that's right. I had to come back down the mountain.
Okay. Well, and you never know what you're going to run into. You could run into a rut and get stuck, and then you can't get out. So if you can't see it, especially. No, I mean,
Exactly.
I know California geography a little bit, but I didn't know like how the desert interferes with the altitude if you have to go really high up there to get snow or not. I've only been to California for 48 hours, and that was it. Literally,
Well,
San Diego for
I'm
48
in
hours, and I came back
Sacramento.
home. So, no, I know. I'm just saying
I'm in
that.
Sacramento, so that's
Yeah.
where I just went up Highway 80. I was hunting not too far from Tahoe.
Okay.
Gives you guys a rough geographic location.
Yeah. So how was the Jeep? Did it perform well in what you had to go through? No problems at all?
Oh yeah, that's for it. You know, it could have taken a lot more than I could. That's for getting through one section. I had to keep, it was a really rough, rocky area, but I had to keep some momentum up to get through it. So it was bouncing probably good, 10, 12 inches, as I hit some of these rocks in order to, keeping the momentum. And it didn't care. No damage, no hiccups, nothing. It could have gone through a lot worse, and I'm pretty sure it was just laughing at the mountain at that point.
Oh yeah, dude, I love my Jeep, dude. I'm telling you, my Cherokee is just that sucker just goes through anything. I've only got stuck one time, and it was stupid. It was my fault entirely. But for going through muddy roads and stuff, or just going through freaking snow up to the doors, practically, I mean, it just goes right through it.
Oh yeah,
good stuff. So, all right, let's go ahead and recognize and see who's joining in the show now. We got a lot more people here with us. I see Kingpin out there, and Kingpin's over here. Tennessee Gun Guy's out there. E-Rock is out there. Dead Horse is out there. Jason Stewart's joining us. 10X Shooters is with us right now. John Brown Productions in the house. Scott P79, Mario Mosen's out there. Darren Bear is out there. Calaveras is there and here. Apologize if I repeat anybody. Travis T is out there. What's going on, Travis T? How you doing? Jumpy Killer in the house, as always, pushing the 10mm. I did see tacos and French fries. Solo Yackers out there. What's going on, Solo? How you doing, man? Hootie Who's in the house? Hey, yo, he says. All right, Midnight Range TM is out there. Travis P11, you going to beat my marathon chat from last night, or are you scared? I think you need to get past 5 hours and 10 minutes. Dude, I'm not even going to go there. First of all, I'd be corking that, and I don't want that to happen. I can't step on NEA's parade. So, and second, that is just nuts, dude. How you went 5 hours and 10 minutes without a pee break is beyond me. You must have been wearing some serious Depends to pull that off. There's no way I could go that. We've done Caliber Corner for 2.5 hours, and that's pretty much about as long as we can go. At that point, I can't feel anything. Legs are numb, pins and needles, that kind of thing. So, nah, dude, I'm not going to – I got nothing to prove. I'm all about substance, not time. I don't know how you would say that. Anyway, just messing with you, brother. Let's see. Rolling Trip is out there, and Dead Horse was one of the first ones to join. And Ed G-Webs, third thumb for the 2A. So there we go. All right, so tonight we're going to continue our discussion talking about 308 Winchester / 7.62x51 NATO and what some of the differences are between the two. And the more and more I thought about it, this really is one of my favorite overall calibers all the way around. I want to get the quick and dirty history of the round out there just to be done with it, to get some of the information out there. And then the people that are on the panel, if you guys have any experience with 308, I want you to just share with us why we think it is probably hands down one of the best calibers out there, especially when you start talking about a combat round or maybe a medium to heavy game round also. And you can argue there's always something better, 30-06 and stuff like that. But the 7.62x51 and 308 Winchester, I mean, the fact that it's available on so many platforms, at so many different price points, and there's so much ammo available and so low prices, there really isn't any reason why a person shouldn't have a 308, right? So real quick, here's just the history on the round. And then we'll go ahead and just let the panel take over. So 7.62x51 NATO is a rimless bottleneck rifle cartridge developed in the 1950s as a standard for small arms among NATO countries. It should not be confused with the similarly named Russian 7.62x54R, aka the Mosin Nagant round, right? A slightly longer rim cartridge. It was introduced into U.S. service in the M14 rifle and M60 machine guns in the late 1950s. M14 was superseded in the U.S. service as the infantry adopted 5.56 NATO, which we talked about last week. However, the M14 and many other firearms that use the 7.62x51 round remain in service, especially in the case of various marksman sniper rifles, medium machine guns such as the M240, and various rifles in use by special ops forces. Cartridges used by both the infantry and on mounted and crew service weapons mounted to vehicles, aircrafts, and ships. So although not identical, and this is the part where you can kind of argue back and forth, 7.62x51 NATO and the commercial 308 Winchester cartridges are similar enough that they can be loaded into rifles chambered for the other round. Maybe. But the Winchester 308 cartridges are typically loaded to higher pressure than 7.62x51 NATO. So even though SAMI does not consider it unsafe to fire the commercial round in weapons chambered, for the NATO round, there is significant discussion about compatible chamber muzzle pressures between the two cartridges based on powder loads and wall thickness on the military versus commercial rounds. So while the debate goes both ways, the ATF recommends in checking the stamping on the barrel. If unsure, one can consult the maker of the firearm. So the last thing I want to talk about is, what is the big deal about 308? Why do we care? Why is it such a prolific round? 7.62x51 NATO cartridge approaches the ballistic performance of the original 30-06 Springfield M1906 service cartridge. Modern propellants allowed for similar performance from a smaller case with less case capacity, a case that requires less brass and yields a shorter cartridge. This shorter cartridge allows a slight reduction in the size and weight of the firearms that chamber it, and better cycling in automatic and semi-automatic rifles. The 30-06 Springfield M1906 round weighed 403 grains, 26.1 grams. Sorry about that. And the 7.62x51 NATO M80 round weighs 25.4 grams. So we'll just call it 308 for simplicity's sake, in a reference to both of them. And if we want to point one out over the other, we can go ahead and do that. So what do you guys think? 308, is it quite possibly the most perfect round, all-around round that a person could purchase for, say, hunting, possible combat situation, a marksman rifle, long-distance shooting? What do you guys think? Let's throw it out there. What are your thoughts on 308?
That's where comparing 308 to 30-06 in the 110, so as a hand loader, in the 110 up to about 180 grain slug weights, they definitely are going to be comparable. Based on the statistics that the information I've looked up to the reloading books, your 30-06 is going to run an average of about 100 feet per second faster with the same slug weight. But where 308 maxes out at about 180, your 30-06 can go up to about 220 grain. So in the extreme application, the 30-06, due to its case capacity, will have certain capabilities. My deer rifle is actually a 308. Recoil is definitely moderate, accurate, significant punch to it. Recoil impulse is reasonable for a wide range of shooters. Range-wise, the round is capable of reaching out probably about as far as most shooters are capable of pushing it. Don't get me wrong, there are some shooters out there that are capable of a lot more than that round is, but I'm saying the average shooter.
Yeah.
And depending on platform, it definitely has its abilities. AR-10 versus a bolt gun. But as for perfect round, I don't know if there's anything that's necessarily perfect when it comes to firearms. I don't really know what else to say. So anyone else got anything to add?
I would say it has its definite advantages, over, obviously smaller rounds. For me, just the availability and options of the 308, and just think about all the different platforms that are out there that you can buy into with it. And just to me, the lower cost of ammo, I guess, compared to, more expensive rounds that might not necessarily deliver more for the money. I mean, I just like the options that you have as a shooter, as a buyer, as maybe a shooting enthusiast, what you can do with 308. There you go. There's some 308 in a can right there. That's Night Strike's IV that he's got lined into his arm right now, right? Joel.
I mentioned I went to go get some caffeine a little earlier in the side chat there, and I had to get the can of Jolt out of the fridge because I had stuffed it in the back of the fridge so it got cold.
Or is that so the family wouldn't drink it?
That too. But nice refreshing Jolt.
Okay, so tell us something, Nice Strike. Your experiences with the 308 through your SETME, what are your thoughts on that? Is that a great, maybe first 308 semi-automatic to buy into, or do you think a person should rather go with an AR-10? What are your thoughts on that? Because you're somebody who's got a SETME, you've got a lot of experience with that rifle.
Yeah, well, the thing is that SETME, that's Century C308, it's actually not a pure SETME rifle. A lot of the parts are surplus SETME parts, but then but it's also a mishmash of HK91 spare parts, as well as even some non-NFA G3 parts too.
Okay.
Surplus, because
And,
some HK91 and G3 parts are indistinguishable if it's not the NFA's parts.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I've used an AR-10. I don't notice the difference in recoil between 5.56 and 308. I know 308 is more of a kick. I get that. But, in the AR platform, I know the AR-10 was made first, but I don't see the point. Okay? I mean, the United States government, the military, used 308 in, or 7.62x51 in the M14 in the early parts of Vietnam. And then, halfway through Vietnam, they switched over to the M16.
Yeah.
They gave, the people who were issuing them gave the soldiers a lot of bad information. They told them they didn't need to clean the rifles originally. Then they went back and said, "Oh no, you got to clean the rifle." And it's just basically they took the 30 caliber rifles away from our troops who were fighting people who were using AK-47s, SKSs, 7.62x54 even in some cases.
Yeah.
They were fighting people using those calibers. They took the 30 caliber away from our troops, and they gave them 22 rifles. I mean, no matter what you say about the 5.56 caliber, it's a glorified 22. And that's what gets me all angry about, because we had a great platform in the M14. Yes, it was heavier because the receiver was a little heavy. So instead of using wood, they could have made a polymer or like a Bakelite type stock to put the receiver in that would have done just as well as like an AR-15 would have, and it would still be a little heavy, but it wouldn't be as heavy, and you would have been able to use it in much more in the jungle environment much better. Because again, we were fighting people who were using 7.62x39 with 5.56.
So here's my question for you then, and this is the kind of counter what you're talking about. Just play devil's advocate. I always see these stats that say, what was it, that 8 guys armed with M16s would be more lethal than 11-man squads running anything 308. Are they just talking just lethality out to a distance? That's where they were coming up with it, not actual jungle combat situations, or what? Why do we always hear that? And that was the justification to push 5.56.
I'm basing all this off of the facts that I've read in history, because I've done research in history, and I've done lots of research on calibers and whatnot. Now, if you want to get into the whole military aspect, I understand that from the military aspect, the reason why they changed from 308 or 7.62x51 to 5.56x45 was because the troops could carry more ammo. But again, if you're giving them a full auto rifle, it really doesn't matter at that point, because they're not going to use it for accuracy in the first place. They're just going to use it to spray and pray.
Yeah. Well, and also what I'd read was that the 5.56 was.
That's not every soldier, but again, that's kind of what we if you look into the statistics, because they have the statistics of the munitions used and how much was used during Vietnam, and we used a hell of a lot more 5.56 than we did 308.
Well, I think it depends on how much of a rifle distribution you had of the M16 in rounds. Were there more M16s in the hands of troops when we were in peak combat in Vietnam versus M14s? Well, if that's the case, then obviously we would have used more 5.56 ammo. But
I've heard there were some cases that some troops refused to turn in their M16s and kept the M14s, and I don't know if that's true or not, because I wasn't there, of course. It's just what I've read in history books.
Yeah.
So, but again, as far as the nitty gritty on the soldiers using 308, I think I would defer to Squibload on that aspect, because he, out of all of us here on the panel, he is the authority right there.
So Squib, let's move this over to you. What's kind of your take on just 308 in general? What are your thoughts about it? Is it one of the better calibers out there that a person should have a firearm chambered in, or what are your thoughts?
My only experience with 7.62x51 is in full auto fire only. I've never fired it out of a semi-auto or bolt-action rifle ever. So I can tell you this, it runs really good in an M60.
Well, and see what I keep reading was that the 5.56 was the response to difficulty controlling or the recoil of the 308 under full auto fire. So that's why 5.56 was also pushed, you know.
I've never fired an M. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, I heard what Travis said, and it's like 308 was too heavy for people to carry. What was 30-06 too heavy for their grandparent or the people who served 5 or 10 years before them to carry? That's a little unrealistic and in a statement to say, 308 was too heavy to carry, so we had to switch to 5.56. It sounds like a bullshit statement.
Over time in the 20th century and today, they have found ways to lighten the load that your average combat trooper, soldier, Marine, airman, whatever, is carrying. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't substitute one thing for another. They'll say, well, we made this lighter, so therefore you can carry more ammo. Or we made this lighter, so now you can carry more food. Or we made this lighter, so now you can carry more medical supplies, or whatever it is. They have a certain weight that they want you to carry. And the reason being is because of fatigue. You're going to sweat that off, and you may be limited in your resupply on water. Also, injury. If any of you guys have ever carried a full pack, combat boots, Kevlar helmet, machine gun, ammunition, cartridge belt, bayonet, entrenching tool, the list goes on, up and down those California mountains that Calaveras is talking about, I guarantee you, you know how dangerous it is risking twisting an ankle, breaking an ankle, falling with all that gear, everything else like that. It is not easy to run across a field while you're getting shot at carrying all of that stuff. So weight is a very, very big factor in combat. In World War II, they didn't have access to some of the synthetic materials they had in the 50s and 60s and 70s that they started integrating. So they went from heavy canvas that when it got wet, absorbed the water and got even heavier, to synthetics like nylon that wouldn't absorb water and were lighter in general. Plus they were less likely to attract mold and things like that. If you've ever seen any old military canvas gear, you've got rusted stuff and mildew all over it and things like that if it's been setting out in moisture. There are a lot of things to consider for the average combat loadout. Typically in a platoon, you've got 4 squads, and they got about 12 guys in each squad. Sometimes it's a little bit more. You got fire teams of 3 to 4 guys in each squad. So you've got so many fire teams, so many squads that make up a platoon. And I believe we had 1 machine gun for the platoon, but I've heard of them having up to 1 machine gun or squad automatic weapon, either or, per squad. Not per fire team, but per squad. And depending on how you get broken up during combat, or how many guys are out on a patrol, or whatever you have, it really depends on what you've got. And then you've got things like weapons platoon that brings specialty weapons like shotguns or sniper rifles or things like that. And they get integrated, and that's a whole nother ball of wax there. But as far as carrying the ammunition for the machine gun, if it was an M60 back when I was in, or nowadays these guys carry M240s, you're going to have the machine gunner probably only carry 100 or 200 rounds for that. The assistant gunner is going to carry 100, 200 rounds, and then everybody's going to carry maybe an extra 100 rounds for it. And when you're in a firefight, when you run out of ammo, you're counting on your guy that's way over there to come crawling over to you to bring you extra ammo. I didn't like that. So I carried extra ammo on me. I would carry usually about 400 rounds on me, and I got in trouble once, actually, for weighing myself down with too much ammo. But I didn't care. I was young and strong and didn't care. So they are actually aware of how much each individual carries, and they're aware of each individual, whether they're just a rifleman, whether they're a designated marksman, whether they're a machine gunner, squad automatic weapon gunner, whether they're a corpsman or medic, what they have to carry. And if they have to carry something specialty, then they're going to have to split it up amongst everybody. So it's really kind of difficult to to compare what they had to deal with in World War II to what they have to do today, because we're using our technology to our advantage to reduce those injuries. And in Vietnam, yes, marksmanship was not as crucial as it was before and after Vietnam. And there was a lot of spray and pray, in which case you're going to want them to carry more ammo. It doesn't matter what caliber it is. However, you can get them to carry more ammo. But the way I was trained was one shot, one kill. We didn't hardly ever use our weapons, our select fire weapons, our actual assault rifles on full auto or burst in our case, unless it was a close-in situation like playing around in Combat Town or something like that, or kicking indoors or something. It was just typically not done. One, because the weapon's more likely to jam, and two, you're just wasting ammunition. But that wasn't necessarily the philosophy in the 50s or 60s. And when you're in the jungle and you can't see in front of you and you're just trying to lay down suppressive fire to get them to stay down so you can try to flank them or whatever you got to do, right, it really doesn't matter what kind of piece of lead gets thrown down range. So the 308, what I like about it, or the 7.62x51, what I like about it is a better anti-material round. Even though a 5.56 NATO will go through a lot of stuff, it's not this incredible armor-piercing round that bounces around inside your body and shreds you to pieces like what the politicians say. But it will go through certain things. That standard M80 ball will punch through armor plate that a 5.56 won't, or it'll punch through parts of a building or structure or vehicle that a 5.56 may not, especially at longer ranges. So that's why it makes something that's really good for a crew serve weapon or a sniper weapon or something to that effect. It's going to work really good against vehicles, buildings, light armor, things like that. That's why it's really not necessary for everybody in a fire team or platoon to carry 308 or 7.62x51. They can carry more of the lighter ammunition that will still take down a person, and it will do the job. And a lot of times when you're laying down fire, I mean, I hate to say this, but it's suppressing fire. You're either trying to flush them out or you're trying to get their heads down so you can try to move up on them. It's not always, oh, here we are out in open field like Napoleonic Wars where you can see them and
right.
That sort of, it's just not that easy.
No.
So I know that was kind of a complicated explanation, but that's the military side of it.
Yeah, I wanted to hear the combat side, the military side, kind of what your thoughts were on it. So you don't, Squib, you don't have anything chambered in 308 right now? Or 7.62x51.
No,
we'll just call it 308 for simplicity's sake. But
if I was to get one thing chambered in it, if I could only get one gun chambered in it, it's that Ishapur that you used to have. I would like to get that. I had a chance. I passed it up. I could kick myself. Yeah. I love the old Milsurp rifles with history, even if they weren't even used in combat. It's just the history. And I like the SMLE platform, so that would be one that I would want. I mean, if I really had some serious money, a semi-auto M60, but it's kind of, I really can't think. If I was going to get a bolt gun, I'd probably get a 30-06. And the great thing is the same bullets I use to reload my 30-06, I can use to reload 300 Blackout and 308 Winchester or 7.62x51. So from a component standpoint, it's a little bit easier on the reloaders. You can't use the same die. You can't use the 30-06 die on a 308. You use the same bullet. Yeah. I believe you use the same primer. You can use the same powder in some cases. It's just a different amount of powder. But that is something that is a little bit more compatible on the reload side. But I'd really like to get an Ishapur. What was your experience with that gun?
I was one of the first rifles that I bought. It was a $100 pawn shop find, and I'm still kicking myself for selling it. That was the dumbest thing. But I didn't know guns back then. I wasn't smart about them, and I didn't know if it was going to be worth $500 at this point now. It was a beast, man. It hurt to shot. It felt a lot like a Mosin. I mean, you had that metal back buttstock on it, and it did have the box magazine. It was all numbers matching. It was either made or produced or whatever you want to call it when it was bored out or whatnot, converted from 303 in the 1970s. It was like a 1972 or 73 issued rifle. The craftsmanship was just old world, man. This sucker was freaking heavy, solid. I'd say it's worth buying one now, but I mean, they're probably just as much as just a regular, 303 Brit. I mean, they're probably up there. So I don't know. But But yeah, I loved it. It was awesome. It was a very cool rifle, and I'm still kicking myself for getting rid of it. But that was my first 308, first experience with. Well, I don't know if it was. I don't remember if it was Mark 7.62x51 or 308 Winchester. I don't know what it would have been, Mark. To be honest with you, that's something that you'd have to. I mean, honestly, I can't tell you, but I think I bought 7.62x51 just to be safe when I fired it.
All right.
If I were to get a 7.62x51 semi-automatic, it would probably be a DSA FAL. One of those American-made FALs. I've taken a look at them at the NRA show, and I've bought stuff from DSA before because they make more than just FAL parts or complete rifles, and they make good quality stuff. So that would be kind of another thing. I had an opportunity to get an FAL. The guy had it for sale for $800 with, I can't remember how many extra magazines. It was an original semi-automatic British one. I turned it down, and then I went back later, and he had already sold it. And another one, just like the Ishapore, I could kick myself.
So Travis, I want to walk back a little bit. Not so much on what I said, but go back and actually mention something about the 7.62x51. You know, it came about because the 30-06 or the 7.62x63 was just too large. So what they did is they took the bullet out of the 30-06, the projectile, and they shortened the case, the brass casing, and they used that same bullet, and that's how we got the 308 or 7.62x51. And you know, ballistically, it performed almost exactly like the 30-06, except it was shorter. And it ties into the whole thing with Squib saying, you know, they want soldiers to be able to carry more ammunition. And, you know, again, I guess that's where he's going for with the canvas stuff, which they figured out how to have better, you know, they figured out better carrying cases for the ammo. They figured out how to make the ammo shorter, but, you know, soldiers still complained about having to carry, you know, too much ammo, which, I mean, you're a soldier. Your job is to go and fight in war for our country and for your people. I mean, you're complaining about bringing stuff along that could potentially save your life and the life of the people around you.
Yeah.
I knew lots of guys that traveled as light as possible. When you're out there, you're sweating. Everything is just, it's hot, it's heavy. It's miserable. I knew a lot of guys that traveled as light as possible, but there were also guys that, you know, they weren't good about making sure they put salt in their chow. They weren't good about drinking water properly. And I mean, we all got trained on what to do to keep ourselves from you know, having heat injuries and things like that. But stuff still happened. Guys got hurt. Guys passed out. Guys got, you know, hauled away. Medevaced out or whatnot, you know, from different things, and the amount of weight you're carrying when you're trying to run, and the terrain is rocky and it's downhill and it adds up. It really does. I did my best to keep myself in the best shape, and I carried extra. Like I said, I got in trouble one time, and it wasn't the only time I carried extra stuff. There were lots of times where I would carry extra gear. One time I traveled light, and I regretted it because we went up into the Alps, and I did not have all of my cold weather gear, and I froze my ass off because I decided to go light that day. And that was the one time I ever did that. Almost always, I traveled heavier than normal, but sometimes I got more muscle than brains. But just a lot of guys would try to go light. And the one time I did it, I regretted it, and I don't know if I had to do it again. More is better than less, but they don't train you to carry less or carry more. They train you to carry what they tell you to carry, nothing more, nothing less, and that's it.
Yeah. A lot of comments are rolling in right now. A couple things I want to say. What else we got here? Okay, so Dead Horse said that 300 Savage is the parent case, not a 30-06 for 308. That makes sense.
That's the parent case for the 308. I was talking about the bullet itself. You know, that copper full metal jacket projectile.
Yes.
That came out of the 30-06, and they put that in the 308 because they are the same size.
See what else. There's
The
a lot of
projectile itself.
pretty good info popping in here. So Vash Matrix says I like 308 because it's hard to find AP 7.62x39, and 30-06 doesn't have many high/standard capacity good BRs. Battle rifles, is that it? What was a comment that I saw earlier? Tennessee Gun Guy said the change from 7.62 to 5.56 was very much doctrine and the failure of marksmanship training in the military. Now having lugged a Mark 14 in Afghanistan, or MK14, Mark 14, right? And with full pack, that's brutal. Let's see. Scott P79 says the U.S. has been studying the engagement zone issue since World War II, and they concluded that most engagements happen within 300 yards. Yeah, and what was the requirement for 5.56 NATO? Is it needed to be supersonic at 500 yards to be able to punch through a steel helmet, essentially, and more or less be able to do what 7.62x51 could do at that same distance. Patrick says my 20-inch barrel AR-10 with the 4x14 scope weighs 9 pounds without a full mag. Dead Horse, comment of the night. They don't lighten the load in the military. They just make it so you can carry more. So there you go. Who was it that was talking about that? E-Rock says, my next purchase is between a Tavor 7 or an M1A CQB SOCOM. I just can't make up my mind. You know, I would never encourage you to buy a Springfield Armory product, but if you're going to get an M1A, you don't have a lot of choices unless you get one used. M1A CQB SOCOM. I love the M1A that I tested on my channel.
Hold on, Travis.
Yeah.
They could get one of those James River Armory M14s. And then just get, an M1A stock, third-party stock, and use that. That way they're not giving any money to Springfield.
Go to Fulton Armory if they're still in business. Fulton, Fulton Armory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can just get a surplus BM59 and have a better rifle overall anyway.
Yeah.
We did have the caliber question of the night. Name the best gun that the 308 was ever chambered in. If you said M60, you are correct. The earlier one, Kingpin got the question right. It was what was the first gun that was chambered in 308? Is that right? And then what did you say here? Kingpin said the Model 70 188. Is that correct?
Yeah, so, Dead Horse said it was the 71st and then the 88.
All right.
Now, if we're gonna talk about machine guns chambered in 308 or 7.62x51, yes, everyone's first American choice has to be the M60. But again, but again, my second choice is the MG3, which they just took the MG42, took the barrel out, and however they did it, and chambered it for 308. And basically, that's the MG3. It's an MG42 and 308. I like that.
That works. That works well.
Because it's in a good caliber instead of this weird millimeter stuff.
Well, he's been sitting quietly for a while, so real quick, let's let Rich White introduce himself. Rich, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Sorry I'm late.
No. We've been in this. I've been wanting to get back to you here. So tell us about your channel, man. What can one discover if they come your way over on YouTube or gunchannels.com or GunTube or anywhere else we can find you?
Yeah, Unloaded Media on Sunday nights at 8 Eastern. We have This Week Unloaded. And I also have Unloaded Media Rich White on Instagram, which I really haven't been doing much with lately. And there is an Unloaded Media Facebook page, but again, I haven't really done anything with that. But it's hard to create that way back when we first created the channel. So, but it's still there. I mean, I don't think there's anything posted on it. But
So I've always wanted to ask you this: is Unloaded Media, is it a company that you run, like an LLC, and you do promotions and 2A media and stuff like that, or what is Unloaded Media all about?
So far, it's just a channel. That's all it is.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, and I mean, even the show has changed from what it originally was. So at this point, I'm not sure exactly what all I'm going to do with it.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Real quick, I want to head on over to Calaveras here. So Calaveras, from a hunting perspective, okay, what would you say about 308 as your deer hunting choice? What are your thoughts on that? Calaveras, you still there? Maybe. He said that his deer and bear rifle is a 308. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that, dude?
I can hear you, but you're real quiet, Kyle.
Unmute yourself.
No, if he's not muted.
Yeah, I can hear him, but he's really quiet. You guys, I don't know if that's...
Might be having some bandwidth issues. His volume's turned up all the way right now, so I don't know.
Yeah. Jump out and jump right back in, Calaveras.
Okay, so I'm going to move around the tiles here, Calaveras. We'll come back to you. Kingpin, 308, 7.62x51. You got some AR-10 experience, correct?
Kind of, sort of. Yeah, a
Okay.
friend of mine's got a couple, and I started building one. So I like it. I think it's a pretty neat little platform. But if I was gonna go and promote 308, I'd stick with bolt action.
Okay.
I've got
Might be
the
a nice way to get into the caliber without having to break the bank, or you can get yourself a nice bolt gun and really use it as kind of an all-around rifle.
well, what I like about it is my best friend's wife is about 100 pounds on a good day, and she can handle the 308 better than anybody else at our range. And I'm not even being joking around. She's clearly take that rifle and outshoot anybody up at that range. And the recoil's nothing for her. Uh, it's a big enough round that it's still kind of affordable, unless you want to complain about the affordability. I mean, anything bigger is unaffordable. So I think it's a pretty good round. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I've seen boxes of 20 at Cabela's. Just they have a Privy Partisan that's just like a plain label box for its new brass for $9.97 for 20 rounds. And if you got a gun that can shoot steel case, that can handle the steel case, like I don't know whether they set me or whatnot, then
Plus, like you mentioned earlier, the versatility and just how available it is. Every reloader has a recipe for 308. So if anything ever happened and I needed a quick reload, teach me how to reload real quick, Travis. You've already know, or a Night Strike or Squib or Dead Horse. Every reloader's got a 308 recipe.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, so Calaveras, your experiences hunting with the 308 round, more than adequate for the distances you need to shoot. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh yeah, especially for the California deer. It's larger than what you really need, but it's also big enough that at the appropriate ranges you can go for some bear game as well. Ballistically, the 308 compared to like a 303 British, that's where the 303 is going to be a little faster because that falls roughly between the 30-06 and the 308. I'm just using it as a point of reference. That's where, and I've known plenty of people that have taken, anything up all the way up to moose with a 303. So I can only imagine a 308, which is only about 50 feet per second difference, would be capable if the shooter is. Now, it's not going to have the long-range punch of 300 Win Mag or something like that, but it's also got a very mild recoil. So that's for, and for the bear here in California, because that's what I was trying to go for them as well. It would be more than adequate for anything that I'd run into here. Frankly, I think most of what you'd run into, at least in the continental U.S., I'd say if the shooter's capable and you got the right construction of round, it can handle. Now, it wouldn't be my first choice going after something like some of the big Alaskan bear, but from a hunting perspective, what you're going to run into in the U.S. at least, it'll work.
It's a very popular round for deer out here in Nebraska, especially shots out to say 300 yards or just a little bit beyond.
What I was going to get to.
Yeah.
It does lack a little bit in some of the longer range because of the ballistic coefficients of the rounds. So if you are going to be hunting at 400 or 4 to 5, whatever, you might be better suited with, let's say, a 270 because of its the ballistic coefficients of your slugs.
Oh yeah, energy delivery. Yeah,
but that's for because that fat 30 caliber round slows down relatively quickly. That's its downfall. But that's for essentially that if you can get close enough, it will have the energy to put down what you need to, assuming the shooter can put it where it needs to go.
Just looking at just even the basic, and obviously you're not going to hunt with this because you'd want to go with some sort of soft point ammo, but your American Eagle ball ammo, if you want to call it that, right? Your Full Metal Jacket Bowtail, 150 grain. I mean, you're still delivering at 300 yards, you're delivering 1,586 foot-pounds of energy. I mean that, 500 yards, 1,089 foot-pounds of energy. I mean, it is a very Yeah, it's got the punch behind it that I think you would need. It's about 200 yards, 1,894 foot-pounds, and you could probably expect more energy transfer or better energy transfer from a higher quality round, a true hunting round or a precision round. Say go with something like a ELD tip or ELDX tip or whatever.
Right, or like
you run a
here in
soft point,
California, we
whatnot.
have to, our deer hunting has to be, or hunting in general now, 'cause that's where the new lodges went into effect. It's non-lead ammo for everything, for hunting of any kind.
Yeah.
So that's for like the ammo I'm using right now. It's SIG brand. It's a 150 grain, 100% copper, open tip. So it's still moving at a pretty good velocity because it's only 150 grains. But it's loaded a little hotter than like the Remington Core Locks I was using for practice ammo. Downfall to it is its price. I bought it at a local shop here in Sacramento, and it was about $45 for a box of 20.
Yeah. But if you're only going to need to dial in your rifle with a few rounds, you've got that one box. Maybe buy yourself a second box. You can get by a couple seasons on 2 boxes. Yeah, I'm looking at the Fort Scott right now, and it's $45 a box for 20 rounds, 168 grain Fort Scott ammunition, 308.
Yeah, and that's where there are multiple companies that produce the non-lead slugs, Barnes being probably one of the biggest. And you got the Nosler E-tips. And if you start hand loading, which I will be for here pretty soon, you can get that $45 a box down significantly, even using non-leads.
So what's kind of your experience with it? Is it a quick takedown using the copper bullet versus just your traditional lead and copper jacket? I mean, do you notice it to be just as lethal, or do you think it would be, or the research you've done on all copper ammo? Obviously, you don't have a choice, but I mean, I'm reading about it, and they're making it sound like it's more than lethal for what you need, like it's going to do the job,
I have yet to actually put a round on, living tissue with non-lead. Okay. A buddy of mine is a fish and game warden here in California, and from what I've talked with him, they are noticing a lot of, as he referred to it, pencil hole issues, because the non-leads do require a higher velocity to open correctly, like the leads used to. And so that's for someone who used to be able to shoot 600, probably should need to back it down to no more than 4 in order to get the impact velocity being high enough to open that slug up. I mean, and depending on which one you're running, the Barnes, the SIG, the Nosler, whatnot, they all are going to react differently at different velocities.
Gotcha. Now here's a question, and off the top of my head, I really can't answer this one. So maybe Night Strike or one of you other guys can chime in on this one. How does 308 or 7.62x51 compare to 7.62x54R? Performance-wise, how does it compare? That I honestly can't tell you. I'm not sure. I mean, the 54R is going to be a more powerful round. Like I said, I have to look at the ballistics chart, and I don't really know.
7.62x54R is more in line with like a 30-06 round. It's slightly more powerful, but not overly more powerful.
Well, and you're going to be. I wish that there were more manufacturers that made a 7.62x54R rifle, but it's one of those things where a lot of people say, well, what's the point? There's so many other rounds that can do it, and there's so much more ammo selection out there. I just think it would be cool if I could get, like, here I complained about not being able to get an affordable 7.62x39 bolt action rifle. I could get the CZ527, but that's a $650 rifle, And then Ruger answered the call with American Ranch for $450, $400, It would be cool if there were more 7.62x54 rifles out there without having to go buy a Dragunov or whatever, one of those types of rifles, or a Vepr, or, something just like it'd be cool if we just get a domestic production. It would be cool. But again, ammo selection, in my opinion, is going to be a little bit more limited.
Actually, I would say 7.62x54R, it's more closer to the old 30-40 Krag than it really is the 30-06. Because just the age of the cartridge. Because you're looking at a cartridge that's from the 1890s. Again, the 30-40 Krag, also from that same era. So they're more similar than they are different because of the fact that they're both from around the same era. But the thing is,
Nice, right? That's where, kind of, I believe what you're saying. That's where, because from that generation, weren't most of the, cartridges still relatively low pressure, so they were getting the relatively low velocity in comparison to the more modern calibers?
right? And the thing about the reason why 7.62x54 has stayed relevant is because the factor that one, there was so much of it made. I think they may have overproduced it because of World War I, and that's why you're still able to get spam cans of it all the time.
We've got some comments coming in. Tim 18 Will says 308 7.62x51 is probably the best caliber to mix with others for mixed arm warfare. Partners go to 5.56. Partners go to calibers like 6.5. Dead Horse was chiming in. He goes, apples to apples, same bullet weight, 7.62x54R and 308 are pretty much exactly equal. 402 Outdoorsman says, hey guys, 402 Outdoorsman here. I believe that is a Nebraska-based gun channel. I want you guys to go over there and subscribe. Love your show. Love seeing the interaction with all the other gun and outdoor enthusiasts out there. I want to thank you guys for all the subs and the like. So thank you so much for checking out the show, 402 Outdoorsman. We gave you a little shout out last week over there on 2A Tuesday, or Get Off My Lawn chat with Sandhill Shooter. I did post a little link there for you guys on the YouTube side that talks about the differences between 308 and 7.62x51 and 7.62x54. So you guys can check that out if you get a chance. Hey, there he is. What's going on, man? How you doing? What's up, Benny?
What's up? I didn't know if you were still going to be on or not.
Yeah, well, just for another 28 minutes, and then we're warming up the crowd for the Guns and Geeks podcast. So we're just kind of get everybody primed to go. So they're just frothing for to switch over to the geek side. So. What are your thoughts and feelings on 308? Matt, what do you think? Nice all-around caliber, a good one for people to invest in. We're just talking about the caliber, the history a little bit, the evolution of the round, hunting application, warfare application. What are your thoughts?
I think it is one of the best rifle rounds to get involved in because it is probably, arguably one of the top 3 calibers. Rifle calibers used worldwide. So for me, from a prepping perspective, that and the fact it's an awesome caliber, but even just from a prepping perspective, I think it just absolutely makes sense to have at least one rifle in 308. One rifle that you've got, and stockpile some ammo, put some ammo away, that kind of thing, because it's same reason that you want to stockpile 12 gauge or 9mm or whatever else, right? Incredibly common. I don't know if I'd say it's the most common rifle round in the world. There's an argument to be made for 7.62 and 5.56 also, but I'd say between the 3 of those are your top. It would definitely be the number one actual full power rifle cartridge on the planet. If not, with intermediate cartridge. But yeah, I think it's fantastic. I absolutely love 308.
So, question then: if you were going to go get a semi-automatic 308, what would you get if you could choose from any? Let's just say within $1,000. Would you go AR-10? Would you go C308? Would you go Vepr? Would you go? I had a Zastava M77 for a while, chambered in 308, and then like an idiot, I sold it.
So
what would you do? What would you go get? Yeah.
If we're talking under 1,000, I would just go AR-10.
Okay.
I just if we're I got a little more leeway. Other than that, I'd go M14 myself.
Yeah.
But you're not finding M14s for $1,000 or less unless you're really lucky.
1,600. Is that what we could? James River Armory one's around 1,600, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the AR-10 I think is the best choice all around. Looking at it from a logistical perspective and a prepper's perspective, AR-10 is so common and prevalent in parts and magazines and everything, especially for us here in the United States. I think it's the one that ultimately makes the most sense. It's also going to be probably the most budget friendly because you can slap yourself together an AR-10 nowadays for not too much more money than you can slap yourself an AR-15. Yeah,
600. Is that the cheapest AR-10 we can get right now, or not?
Probably around there. If you
$599?
go to PSA right now and do a build, you'd probably be pushing $550-$600. I don't know. It's been a while since I've looked at specifically the 10s, but
disadvantage of the AR-10 is the discrepancies between the LR-10 and AR-10, designs.
Yes,
we talked about that before. Yeah. Yep. You'd have to know which kind of platform you're buying into, just in terms of your lowers and your uppers. If you're going to do a build, limited availability on certain lines, only produced in certain styles.
Yeah.
the way that
a lot of that
the way
can be
they go
taken
together.
care of
Yeah.
up front. It just up front, you know what you're getting. You're making sure you're buying compatible parts from the beginning. Make sure you just need to know what you have, because there's plenty of compatible parts. You just don't want to mix up, like, you've got what is it? I think like Palmetto State and was it DPMS? Like, you can't cross their parts, and then there's other ones out there. So you gotta just pay attention, and a quick Google search will help you out on that. Either way, there's plenty of parts out there, and just having a little bit of knowledge ahead of time, maybe a little more research than when you're getting an AR-15. You got to put a little more research into it just to make sure you've got everything locked down, and you're going to have the parts and whatever extra parts you want to get. If you want to get an extra bolt carrier group or whatever, that you know what kinds to get. So, but I mean, it's no different than anything else, right? I mean, it when you're comparing it to an AR-15, yes, it seems like, oh, well, that restriction's a big deal. But look at any other rifle platform on the planet. If you buy a CENTME, you can only buy other CENTME parts that are compatible. You know what I mean? So it just, I think we hear the term AR.
You can also use HK91 parts too on CENTMEs, because some of them are interchangeable. There are some that aren't, but the main parts are good.
I think we just get spoiled with the AR-15 platform. That's just all been mil-spec'd. So we're just used to, well, an AR you can buy any part for an AR from anywhere, and it doesn't have to match anything else on your rifle, and it's going to fit, which is a really, really convenient. It's just that, well, it's slightly different with the AR-10. So it's a little bit more like all the other rifles on the planet, where if you want to, you got to get it specifically for that rifle. You can't, you don't go and buy a Ruger American and then expect Savage parts to fit on it, right? You know what I mean? So, but that doesn't mean that Ruger American or Savage or Remington 700 or whatever, that doesn't mean they're not good guns because they're not compatible with each other.
Here's what's great about 308. If a person wants to get into one, you can get a nice polymer stock 308. If you buy it in the springtime when Walmart puts their guns on rollback, you can get one. I've seen them for like $278 with the scope. If you want to get a Mossberg Patriot.
What's the new Remington? The Remington 7, is it the 783 or something like that? I can't remember when they did away with the 770s to replace the 770s with a newer quote unquote budget model. Whatever that one is, you can pick those up. They're all in the $250 to $299 range. The Mossbergs, the Savages, the Rugers, all of them. The Remingtons. They've all got a line. They all come. I mean, what's new one? The Thompson, is it the Contender?
Yeah, the TC Contender or whatever, and then they've also got the Compass. You can get those.
Yeah, the Compass. That's the one I'm thinking of. The Compass.
Weren't those like $249 around the time of Black Friday?
And they have threaded barrels, threaded muzzle brakes on there, so you can, or threaded barrel, and you can put a muzzle brake or whatever you want on them. There's a lot of good options out there. A lot of times you're losing a little something in potentially like I've noticed a lot of the lower budget ones tend to have closed receivers, so quickly top feeding rounds is not necessarily an option on some of these bolt actions when you go with the more budget friendly version. So you're going to have to load them purely by magazines. I know a lot of people like that option. They like an open top receiver on a bolt action, so they can top load one round if they want to, for instance. And you can't really do that necessarily with a lot of the budget versions per se, but still good rifles.
Yeah, I'm seeing 783 Remington scoped combo, just 4+1, 22-inch barrel, MSRP of $410. I was going to see what the actual instant quote price would be if I was to get one here locally. Detachable metal box, magazine. Let's see what we got here for a price. We are looking at $341.
So that's not bad at all.
I mean, sometimes they're a little bit lower too. They'll get them on sale, especially towards the end of hunting season. So if you want to get into 308, somebody's interested in doing it, then from there you can get yourself a nicer optic and you can start to build yourself up. So that's definitely an option. So
I will say another recommendation: if you want a good one, really nice one, get yourself a Howa 1500.
Oh yeah, and those are what those run about 450, 500.
I think I see them around 510, something like that. And they've got the Hogue overmolded stock, like the whole stock is nice, and they're very, very smooth shooting, nice triggers. They're really nice rifles.
I was going to get that. I was looking at going that route. I went with the Mossberg Patriot and said I wanted to get one of the least expensive 6.5 Creedmoors, and I kind of wish I would have got the Howa, but I've yet to see how this Mossberg performs with good ammo, because I took it out with Remington core locked, and it was very inconsistent in the grouping. I mean, core locked will work. It's a functional ammo, but it's like the Ford Taurus of ammo. Like it'll get the job done, but it's not pretty always. You won't necessarily get consistent groupings with it. Don't expect precision groups when you use core lock. That's just my experience with it. But with better ammo, I mean, but I kind of wish I went with the Howa. It looks like it's a nicer finish. You know, a little bit better scope that comes with it. A little bit higher quality action all the way across the board. Yeah. So.
And I will say with the Howas too, you could either buy them like this, or you can get the detachable magazine kit, where you replace the trigger guard in that kit, and you can buy like little 5-round magazines for them, and I think they sell 10-round magazines for them too. So you can get these little additional detachable magazine kits instead of having that standard kit. Mm-hmm. So that's the standard magazine that they have, and it's a cool little add-on. They cost about $50-$60 for that upgrade, but they're nice.
You can slowly build the rifle up over time, and kind of, you know, you can get into doing things with the rifle and tweak it a little bit, and you can start to modify, make it your own. So,
and you can get it like with something like that. And again, it's more expensive than the Mossberg, obviously, but you know, when you can get 10-round magazines, swap it out and do some stuff, and you can make it a little more of like a survival rifle on top of just a hunting rifle. You can do some extra stuff to it. Sorry, didn't mean to turn this into a Howa commercial, but
no, this is good. Well, that's part of it, is talking about what are your options if you want to get into 308. Like, what can a person do? What kind of options are out there for somebody? What should you be looking into? And so you got the option of, you know, I'd say Palmetto State's probably one of the least expensive ways to get into the AR-10. You know, there might be a Radical Firearms one that you could get, maybe save $100. Bear Creek sells one 10-inch barrel. They're sold out right now, but that'd be an easy way to get into one. You know, and then you start to look at your bolt actions, and then at that point you can spend whatever you want to spend. So it doesn't really matter. But 308. I mean, it's a great little round. I think it's one of the better rounds that are out there for a person to get into, and that's pretty much the emphasis for this week. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up here. Anybody have any final comments on 308 before we go ahead and call this one? Thoughts, feelings? Anyone? Nice Strike, Squibload, Kingpin,
Bueller.
Rich,
Bueller.
I don't know if you guys talked about it because I was late, but did any of you see we're in range, and I forget if they did a partnership video series with another channel and company where they compared different 308 rifles in the hands of people that never used 308 before. Yeah. They were all semi-autos, and I thought that was pretty interesting. They did like they had two different AR-10s, including the Brownell's recreation of the original AR-10.
Oh. Yeah.
They did a couple of the bullpups. They had the M14. I'm trying to remember what all ones they had. The FAL and the G3. They had both of those, and they just compared. They'd had them run different drills, and then they compared the times and scored the rifles based on that.
Were these people any type of gun enthusiasts, or were they just average Joes that have never fired one before, or what?
They were people that were experienced with like AR and stuff, but not NATO. I'll be right back, guys.
But they didn't have any experience with necessarily with the 308. Okay, gotcha. Nice Strike, Squibload, Kingpin. You guys want to chime in on 308 before we call it?
Yes, it's a great cartridge.
Everybody should have one. No, everybody should have two. So, all right, cool. Well, this was go ahead.
I echo what Nice Strike said. Everybody should have one. Like I said, it's got plenty of pap to it, but it's still very easy to use, regardless of your body size or your skill level. Doesn't have a whole lot of recoil to it. You know, it's definitely a fun round that you can teach people how to use too.
You know, like we said before, if somebody's like recoil sensitive, you get a nice AR-10. It isn't necessarily going to be much worse than a 5.56, just in terms of range, you know, feel and things like that. So cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We'll let you guys put your final plugs in here, and then we'll thank the viewers this evening for checking it out, and we'll get another caliber out there for next week. So real quick, NEA Matt, we're going to go ahead and let you give your outro. Anything we should know? Anything you want us to check out on your channel, or what do you got? Hey, Matt, can you hear us?
Okay, sorry. It cut out for a second there. I was like, I saw everybody quiet. I'm like, wait, did they just call on me? Is it like when you're in class and you blink out for a second? Oh, shit.
We're going to Bueller. Hey, any final plugs for the channel? Anything you want to say before we go? Just like I said, it was a short little episode tonight, and just chilling and chatting about the 308. So what are your thoughts, man? Or any final things about the channel, your channel?
Oh, no, I mean, just, come over and have fun. We're doing the Geek Chat tonight. And and I'm doing the hasty headlines. I'm editing videos right now, which is probably why I'm slightly distracted because I'm editing videos while talking to you guys.
Yeah,
So I've got like 3 videos I'm editing right now that I'll get posted up this week. One is actually somewhat gun related. I know people bitch. They stick to guns. You do too much politics. I'm sorry.
You ever notice us ammo guys are missing one? It's got a little patrons in here, so my Patreon patrons, I keep them on standby. So, yep. I don't know if you saw my video for that, Matt. I'm doing a Patreon drawing every month.
I got the notification, but I haven't watched it yet.
I got a little army figure with every patron has their own little army guy with their name on the bottom, and I'm doing a drawing every month. So we're gonna do live drawing tomorrow. I got the box ready to go. I'm reusing my tack pack boxes. So
nice.
Cool. All right, so guys, make sure you check out NEA's channel. He's gonna be doing Guns and Geeks podcast tonight here in about 45 minutes. We're gonna kick off Central Time, 8:00 Central Time. So check it out. Rich White, are you back, brother? And you want to go ahead and give us a little outro or?
Yeah,
anything
I'm
before you
back.
go?
Sorry about that. Somebody came to the door and my wife was in her pajamas and didn't want to get the door.
That's all right. Well, I did mute you because we heard your conversation going on in the background, so I didn't. I was like, nah, we better. Okay, the Schwann's man showing up, so we don't hear that interaction. So
I went to mute. I guess I missed one because I was getting up and went to mute at the same time in one action. I guess I missed the button.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No. Any final plugs before we go, brother?
Yeah, and be sure to check out the show Sunday nights at 8 Eastern over on Unloaded Media Channel. This week Unloaded. You never know what we're going to talk about. This past weekend, or yesterday, we talked about a website where you can actually go and compare different sizes on firearms. It has all the dimensions and everything. You can choose. They have just about every commonly carried handgun that's available in the United States on there. So, like, if you wanted to compare, say, a G2C and a Glock 26, you can go over there and it'll tell you all the dimensions, what calibers.
Oh, damn, that is cool.
Capacities and everything. So,
is that like viewer enthusiast contributed and built, or are they pulling it from manufacturer databases, or how's that?
They use the manufacturer's databases. They also when you do that, they also give you the links to the manufacturer websites.
Oh, that is
so
sweet.
You can actually go and look at the manufacturer's websites and whatnot.
It's kind of like the IMDb of handguns right there. You can look up any gun you want to, and there you go. Here's how it compares to this one, and sweet, man. All right. Well, hey, Rich, I do appreciate you joining us this evening. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, sorry I didn't get to contribute more, but
don't worry about it, dude. It's okay. Like I said, it's kind of a tricky time. A lot of people are trying to get dinner done. A lot of people are trying to get ready for other shows and stuff. So that's all right, man.
And if you haven't seen it, I do recommend going over and watching that series that In Range did. I found it rather interesting. And they
myself,
they had like 4 or 5 guys, and then there was one woman that was there, and they were shooting them and getting timed and everything. They were doing like splits and stuff like that. It was rather interesting to see which one actually won.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I've never fired an AR-10 before, so that would be a lot of fun. I mean, I fired, I have my AK chamber in 308 Winchester, but it would be a whole different experience. So cool. I will definitely check that out, man. All right.
It just seems wrong, an AK chambered in 308.
Dude, it was very cool. What sucked is I had to buy expensive magazines for it. There was only one company that was making mags for it because it came with these god-awful, I don't know if they were 5 or 10 round, just aluminum foil mags, basically. They were terrible. Yeah. You couldn't.
But you know what's better? Using
What's
an
that?
AK and 7.62x39 and using these wonderful Croatian bolt hole open mags that a certain YouTuber did a couple videos of dremeling them down just to get them to fit his rifle.
Matt, I'd like you to try a Croat mag in your AMD 63 and let me know if it works. It never fit in mine. But like I said, even AK-47 Operators Union had trouble with those mags in his Vepro or his Arsenal. They wouldn't lock. So
and my shoulder receiver just like locks into place.
Maybe your magazine well is out of spec because they actually do work and they don't work in any other AK out there. So did you ever think of that instead of saying, your magazine well is out of spec? Because every other magazine will.
Because I bought Magpul mags.
Those work in mine.
And those work just fine. The Tapcos work just fine.
See, my Tapcos had to be sanded down on the sides because they wouldn't fit.
Soviet mags work just fine. Even the Asian military mags work just fine. It was your magazine well, dude. I'm telling you.
But no, because other people have had problems with the Croat mags. Like if you look it up, it's
a well-known issue. It's a well-known issue.
Which is weird because it's a Hungarian gun. You would think that maybe they'd be close enough that they'd have some intercompatibility and stuff, but I don't know. Just thinking, Eastern European. So, all right, nice try. Give us your outro, man.
Check out the Gun Connection.
Is that up and running?
Not yet, but
okay. So, Matt, I don't know if you heard yet. We're going to do a dating service for people that are firearms enthusiasts seeking out other people. And you'll fill out a survey, and they'll basically give you a caliber compatibility rating, and that's what you're going to kind of fall into. Are you a 45 ACP? Are you 357 SIG?
I got you.
You 44 mag kind of guy? You know, we're thinking about 45 ACP might be for the older crowd.
And there's so many other comparisons too. It's not just caliber; it's barrel length.
Yes.
You know,
well, we don't want to get too in depth.
Is your gun just sitting in the case collecting guns? When's the last time you fired your gun?
It's okay, nice. We know you're a pistol guy. You like those little snubby barrels, but
I'm not going to say anything. We can take this to so many wrong places. I got to keep it PG, sort of. So, anyway, so nice. Give us your outro, man.
Check out guntube.org. There we go.
That's it. Guntube.org. It's rocking and rolling.
Tomorrow night on the Night Strike 1 channel on YouTube. Hit or miss Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Where me and Travis talk about the really, really nitty gritty topics that not everybody talks about.
And I get emotional. I'm emotional on Tuesday nights. I don't know why. I get emotional on Tuesday nights, and I really just let it all. I just, that's it, man. You bring out the emotion.
All right.
You had me at hit and miss. So there you go. All right. All right. Squib load. Outro, brother.
I think I had you at miss.
Later.
All right. There you go. Very powerful man. A few words. All right. Kingpin, give us your outro, man.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for having me. I posted links to Unknown Users' birthday card thing and Blokes giveaway again, so go check those out.
If you guys are curious what we're talking about, go back and watch the beginning of the video when we were doing the intros. We covered all that information for you. There's links you can click on in the chat that'll take you there. And by the way, you're watching this live chat through the GunTube chamber. So if you're somebody who wants to get into live streaming your gun-based videos or 2A videos or Pro Freedom videos, you can do that over at guntube.org, which is how you guys are watching it right now. So it's pretty cool. All right, so I think that's about it. So real quick, let's see who is joining us this evening. And let's see, we got Kingpin out there. Kingpin's over here. We got G-Webs out there going on. Single Shot's joining us. Hello, Single Shot. Tim 18 Wheels was with us this evening. Rich White was out there and over here. Dead Horse was out there and over here. Blue Steel 44. Ravens Flies was out there. Webston Probst is out there. Great show. Jason Stewart's out there. Jason, thanks for watching, buddy. Hypo Drake was watching it tonight too. A lot of new people this evening. Snake Doctor 78 was out there. Trauma Jock chilling with us. Saw a little Jumpy Killer going on out there. 402 Outdoorsman. Get over there and subscribe to his channel. It's very cool. Another Nebraska-based gun tuber. Let's see who else was with us. E-Rock was out there this evening. And I think that's pretty much about everyone. Midnight Range chimed in this morning. He had a little throwdown. He wanted me to make sure this chat lasted longer than 5 hours and 10 minutes. I said there's no way I can overstep Never Enough Ammo, so that wasn't going to happen. So we had to keep it short and sweet this evening. 2 live moves in the house. Trauma Jock with us. And Mike was out there. Vanessa Kitty. I missed a little bit of the chat. I do apologize because I was looking stuff up with on 308 and some firearms. Let's see. I think Tennessee Gun Guy joined us, and I think that's about it. Pew Pew Park was out there also. 10X Shooters joining in. Razor JB and Vash Matrix was out there. Ozzy Orsborn out there. Scott P79, Travis T. And I think that's about it. So Patrick was out there too. All right, guys. So thanks for watching this evening. Thanks for checking it out. Caliber Corner episode number 104, where tonight we talk about the calibers we love, the 308. So that's it, guys. I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. Make sure you get over there and get over to a Blokes 2 Cents promo video to get some fundraising going on over there and contribute to it. The link is in the beginning of this chat. And as you know, guys, we will talk to you soon. You guys all take care. Have fun. Be safe. We will talk to you next Monday. All right. Have a good one.